we're live finally! Yay!
It works.
It took us a long time. Guys, we're so sorry. Apparently Twitch is having this full-out issue right now. And we've literally been sitting here for an hour trying to make this work.
Yeah.
And it's been ridiculous. And yeah, so yeah, we're finally live. So good to see you guys. I know we missed last week, and I'm really sorry about that, guys. We're here at the esports arena still. They're going under a lot of construction, so we're not going to be able to keep sitting here. But we're going to be moving to our other studio, so don't worry, guys. But since our last go-away show from this place, we have a special guest from EVGA. This is Jacob. Jacob, introduce yourself to people here.
Hey guys, I'm Jacob, product manager at EVGA.
Awesome. I actually met Jacob a long time ago, even before I started this job. And I think we were both drunk no, I was drunk at the time. Never mind, I was drunk at the time.
Trying to drag people down with you.
It may have been both.
I don't know. I know we all talked. There was a lot of drinking. We were at the House of Blues. There was something.
Yeah.
No, but it's actually good because today, guys, we're going to be talking about graphics cards because I know that's like the biggest thing for all the gamers out there. And we're going to be trying to get more guests to keep coming on, guys. But I'm actually really excited about this one because these guys have been for years just one of the biggest graphics card providers out there, right?
Yeah. We started in 1999. So yeah, we've been in this for a long time. So we're the #1 EVGA authorized board partner in North America. So we have a lot of experience with especially EVGA graphics cards.
No, I mean you should. I mean, with that 1990, Jesus, that is so. I mean, even that. So when were graphics cards even back then that in demand? Because I mean, weren't they also building off motherboards their own graphics cards?
So
graphics.
In 1999, there was still demand for graphics cards. I would say it's changed quite a bit. It's certainly got a lot more mainstream than it used to be.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So we started
We're
that
off our groove today.
Yeah, sorry. That was part of it.
I do that all the time too.
I do it too on my own personal stream.
It's in the background. We're like, yeah. Anyway, tell us more about what's going on here. They're like, wow, it's on the back. So anyway, like you were
Thank
saying.
you, Wildcard, for
Yeah,
bringing that to our attention.
So I think it's gotten certainly a lot more mainstream than it used to be. You see a lot more gamers just overall, who want good gaming PCs, and I mean, guys like yourself has helped kind of enable, a wider range of gamers, I would say. So.
Well, I think it's just with the demands of all the games, because there was at one point we were making games that were so overpowered that certain graphics cards even couldn't make those demands. I mean, I knew Crysis was one of the biggest ones for a while. That they couldn't even handle that. I was going man, it's amazing that we're outdoing even the graphics card right here at this point. And then we saw so it was that. I know Far Cry was having the issues too for a bit. God, man, these were but those were back in the day.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at the most popular games today, like League of Legends, they can run reasonably well on a relatively inexpensive graphics card. $100, $150 graphics card to run at 60 frames per second. No problem. So. That has helped also kind of increase the amount of gamers that are on this platform. So.
This is very true. A lot of free-to-play games always kind of start out that way, where it's the graphics are very basic and they offer the bare minimum, but those games seem to be taking off more than the games that are out there right now. I mean, you take games like League of Legends. That thing was just started out small and it's now its own empire, has its own arena. I mean, this thing is now played throughout the world. There's not a place you can't go and not find League of Legends.
Yeah.
And then you have Dead by Daylight that uses a low-level shading for it, but it looks pretty good for what it is. But it costs $20, but even then, everyone's still running it and playing that game.
Yeah, or you look at StarCraft as well, StarCraft 2, which is extremely popular. I mean, around the world, So, yeah, I mean and on top of that, with streaming and stuff, it's kind of increased the visibility of PC games and things like Esports Arena, where people not just like to play games, but they like to watch games. That's something relatively new in this industry.
Yeah, it is. Well, the fact that people are becoming more aware of the brands and of the different types of things that these products are being used for. We were talking about motherboards a month ago, and we were talking about if you were going out to build a PC, what would you look for in that kind, in the range of say a house mom who just wants to do accounting or buying off Amazon, or if you're somebody who's an extreme gamer, what would you be looking for, with slots, do selections and stuff like that. And one of the things I always tell people is it always varies per person. Sometimes you don't need that $2,000 PC.
Right.
I mean, I do video rendering and editing, so I try to shoot for a pretty high end between 2 to 5. But even then, I'm still on a budget. Like right now, I'm putting together a new PC myself, but I'm using the parts that we have currently through our PCs right now. I took one of our M series towers, and then this is the one thing we're not offering. I'm waiting for a Ryzen. I'm being that guy where I'm like, I want one of those chips because I'm an AMD fan. I grew up on that. Like, I'll give you guys hands down your graphics card. It's always been better to me, but for that AMD's like processors, I got a soft spot. It was always just easy for me. I could go Intel and get a Kaby Lake and everything, but I was like, I'm gonna take the gamble. If the packet's horrible, then I'm just gonna be like, I'm done. Like you've sold me out the river. So, but
I think that's the other great thing about PC gaming, or just PCs in general today, is there's a lot of options. You want a mini PC, a mini ITX system. You want a full tower. I mean, there's a lot of different sizes that you can get your PCs. It's not just a gray box anymore.
Yeah. We've gotten to the level of customization. I think what's funny because the people in our industry were like a little bit smoked because that one guy who wrote the article for a bit about how gaming or PCs need to become more mature and adulting because we were putting too many lights and stuff on everything. Like everything became RGB at one point. And I was sitting there going I'm like, wow, this guy really struck a chord with everybody because like I brought it up once because I read it. I was like, oh, it's an interesting article. And so I just thought it was funny where it's like everyone was going like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I was like, well, I mean, like we do put a lot of lights on everything. It's like we might as well make a disco ball computer if we really want to, because I mean, like it sits below us. But of anything, I mean, I like the fact that there's customization to everything that we have right now.
Right, and I mean the good thing about RGB lights is not necessarily like disco mode, but the ability to like match all the colors in the system. Which is another something else that we couldn't really do before. Like your CPU cooler was green and your graphics card was blue, but now with RGB we can match everything together, which is what we want.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you on that. It's one of those things where you see people actually really enjoy customization and really like feel like they own their PC, and I think that's great because having that personal connection with your PC is always a great thing. I mean, like that's one of the things that we have with ours is that we want people to have that connection and really enjoy it. So, that's why we offer the different varieties and different types of, vendors that we work with because it's always nice to have those options.
Right.
But, besides that, before we launch into full tech mode and talking about all this stuff, we usually do the segment where we talk, first of all, guys, right offhand about, our weekends. Usually just a capture of any video games we played, any cool things that have happened. So, starting with Amber first, and we'll work our way back down this way. What did you end up doing this weekend, Amber?
I pretty much played nothing but Conan Exiles this weekend. That's all I've done.
Are you on our server still?
I still haven't. I didn't know if it was still up and going.
The server's
I know I talked to Chris a little bit, and I don't know what's happening there. So like if the whole thing that we were gonna do is still happening or even not. So
Well,
I haven't gone in there because I haven't heard any word. I've been meaning to ask you about it, but we haven't.
No,
had a
it's
chance
still
to catch up.
it's still live. There's actually
Okay.
there's like 4 or 5 streamers on it right now.
Okay.
So I think it's funny because like everyone's like on it at different times.
Yeah.
So they're building. Have you played Conan Exiles?
No, but I've kind of been watching it, so.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things where we have all these different streamers on it. So like they're all streaming at different hours. So like it's like you'll run into random people tracking you down. Well, like somebody come up behind you and shoot you with an arrow. You're like, oh, what are you doing? And like you don't know
for
if
5 minutes just to kill your ass.
well, because we made a save zone. We basically said that like anything south of the river, you can't attack or loot or do anything to, because then it becomes very chaotic and nobody likes the game because they get just frustrated by it. And that's hard because the map, if everyone knows the map pretty well and they're exploring and they find new people within the map, or they like it's their server,
They know where you are.
exactly. So they just come hunt you down and blow your stuff up. So in this part, we just said anything south of the river, don't attack. But everything north of the river, free game. So like I built a small base up in like the hills, like away like near an oasis, but near like also a bunch of NPCs. So if anybody tries to come at me, there's like NPCs that will attack them.
So you have guards, kind of.
Basically, I used the PC against everyone else. I was like, I'll use the NPCs against these fools. Like, but there's also like animals and other things that are there that I've been working with.
Hyenas that get me every single time, and the next thing
It's
you
the
know, a
crippling.
freaking crocodile comes out of nowhere. I'm just like,
Have you fought the spiders yet?
yes, I finally ran into those horrible things.
Get 20 spiders
Oh
on you,
my
and when
God.
they poison you, then
Oh
you get
my God.
drained
I heard
immediately.
about those.
Yeah, like they're
Oh
the
my
most
God.
ridiculous thing in there because like they don't really attack and bite you because their damage is very low. But if you get enough of them on you shooting poison, there's a poison counter that literally will count them down. But if it gets high enough, it literally just starts draining like immediately. We're just going like no. Luckily, I took the religion that has the anti-poison, so I'm good. I got the antidote for that. So that's all that you've been doing is Conan.
Yeah.
Yep.
I haven't really been playing too much of anything else. I don't know.
Well, Conan's an addictive game. I mean,
Yeah.
I enjoy it. So
Well, it's in my genre of stuff that I like to play anyway, so it was very easy for me to become addicted to it.
This is
Very
true.
easy to just be like, new obsession, yes!
And what about yourself? What did you end up doing this weekend?
So I've been playing Sniper Elite 4, which came out like last week.
Yeah.
And then let's see, I played a little bit of Overwatch. I have not been. I was like really hardcore into Overwatch for like a while, but actually
Really?
I've kind of gotten out of
Really?
it. for a
Right there?
while. Yeah.
No, I mean the tattoo.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, right.
He's like, yeah. I was like,
Yeah!
there's a Reaper right there.
Yeah, so you're a lot more than I am. So.
Yeah, no, it's one of my Reaper's one of my mains, and the problem was I played it a lot, but I really get frustrated by people because there's easy calls to make, and you could just say, go over here, do this, do that.
I don't play a lot of Reaper, but I know a lot of people who really like him a lot.
See, the thing is, everyone plays Reaper in the wrong way. They go in and they think, oh, Reaper, we'll just go in and shooting. It's like, no, it's gun and run. You don't just sit there and keep trying to attack. Like, if it's a big target, yeah, shoot the crap out of it and then run for it. But that's literally your objective is to run and create chaos amongst everybody. But everybody just keeps running them in and just dying. Like, and it's just like, that's
So
not how
you still play a lot, or?
I've toned it down. I was when it came out because like when they announced it the year we met, I played it all in the press room like crazy, and I loved it. And then like I kept waiting and waiting for the weekends, and like eventually when it finally released, I was kind of like meh about it at that point. But then I got into it again because I had friends back into it, and then I started playing it even more. And eventually after that point, I was just like, if I'm not going to go pro with this, I don't know why I'm going so hard with it.
Yeah.
You know, it becomes a point to where you're stifling yourself. You're like, I could be playing something.
Well, the
else.
good thing is they do a really good. I mean, this is kind of just Blizzard. They do a really good job of supporting their games and adding new maps and new characters. You know, so it kind of gets me back into it every once in a while. You know, so the new maps are pretty cool.
I think it's the events that get me into it. 'Cause I just want the
like
skins.
yeah,
like,
same thing with me. Like the Halloween event. I think I actually like bought some of the Halloween packs and stuff. Which I usually never do. So.
Hey, trust me, it happens to everyone where you're just going like, oh shit, this would be a great idea. I'll just play that one time, and then you just keep playing it, and you just keep going with it.
Did you do any of the Christmas stuff, like the snowball fight?
Oh, dude,
that was fun actually.
The snowball fight was fun, right?
Yeah.
Because it's May. You're like,
It's
oh,
like
okay, this works.
insta-give snowballs with snowballs.
It said, hey, did EVGA get polo shirts yet?
In our stream, people keep telling us they want EVJ polo shirts. Not yet. We have some, but there's no more left.
And what's going on, Roderick Warham? How's it going? So that's the one thing I don't like about Facebook Live, because when it updates, it goes like a slow update.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, that's it. Anyway, well, and for me, my weekend was basically spent Dead by Daylight. I got stuck back into it. Like, I was trying to play Conan, and they just reset the ranks, and I was rank 1. So I was like, all right, sweet, resets in the ranks. I'll just have to go to level 10, and I just can do the 80 matches and be done with it. And instead, they reset you to level 15. So, and then just to give you an idea of how far that whole dig is you reset to 15, and then you go, like the last level is level 20 for ranks. So trying to work your way all the way back to rank 1 is super annoying. And I get annoyed because, like, playing with certain people, I mean, I enjoy playing with my community. They're great, and they're fun to play with. But I get annoyed by how there's these other players that are out there, like, mostly the killers. Because the killers usually end up being, like, these tunneling jerks or people who try way too hard, or they'll camp you. Like, they'll put you on a hook, and then they'll literally, like, walk around the area until you die on the hook instead of being, like, good sportsmen. You're like, okay, you're on the hook, I'm going to go find your friends. Instead, like, they sit right there, and they wait for you to die on the hook while they're fixing gens, and you're just sitting there going like, oh, that's great, cool, you're fixing the gen. appreciate it. Wish you would get me off the hook sometime. It's like, oh, can't, man. There's like a dude watching you the whole time. It's like, well, somebody bait him and like get him away from him. But instead, it just becomes that whole thing where like he just sits there constantly and will never let you go. And the second you get off the hook, he tunnels you down again and then puts you back on the hook. So eventually, you just die anyway. So it's like, what's the point in playing the game if I can't do anything about this? So that's the kind of thing about it that I don't like. But over time, the game is actually really fun when you get like good matches. There's times where I enjoy doing like little like loops around the killer and stuff like that. But anyway, so with everything being said, guys, usually we like to bring you more of a segment where we also talk about the news and what's going on in the gaming world. Again, there's really not that much drastically that you've seen different from this year and last week and this week. But what we do want to do is get into graphics cards. We'll just straight up just start talking about them because we are so delayed and everything. We're just going to speed up that process. So with graphics cards, let's just start with something very basic. When somebody goes out and buys a graphics card, what kind of things should they be aware to be looking out for? Like, what would help somebody say this is the right graphics card for me and not buy or always shoot for like? Because I know some people will shoot for like a $500, $600 graphics card. When what they really need is like a $100 to $200 graphics card.
Yeah, I think for that, the number one thing is identifying the games that you like to play. Like, if you only play League of Legends, that's all you play, then you can probably get by with like a GTX 1050, 1060 graphics card. But if you are playing Battlefield 1, obviously, really any AAA kind of title that really taxes the graphics card, then you probably want to look for something a little bit more. Of course, your budget plays into that as well. And your monitor, screen size, your resolution. So there's a lot of pretty good guides to kind of help you steer you in the right direction for the type of graphics card that you're looking at. A lot of like for example, NVIDIA publish these kind of recommended guides, like for when new games, like let's just use Sniper Elite 4 for example. They'll say, okay, if you're running at 1080p, if you want to run at maximum settings, then you need a GTX 1070 or something like that. So
yeah,
identifying the games you like to play, the screen resolution, can really help to push you in the right direction for the card that can best suit your machine.
Okay, so you guys here, just making sure what kind of games you play out there. So guys, remember that part, because I mean, a lot of times a lot of people go out there and end up buying graphics cards that they don't need, or it's just overkill, and it's just like...
I mean, if you only play WoW, then you probably don't really need to buy a GTX 1080. But, I mean, a 1080 will play WoW fine, but...
But you need those high-end crisp graphics, man.
Yeah.
You can't just coast through like...
But of course, always buying more. I mean, it's not going to hurt you in any ways. You just want to make sure your power supply is good enough to support the graphics card. But getting the best performance possible is not a bad thing, and future-proofing your machine so you can play the games that come out next year and the year after without any issues is also a good thing. So.
Well, no, but I think that's a good idea. Like the future-proofing, that's one of the things I shoot for to myself. Like, I could have gone with, like again myself with some of the stuff that I have. I mean, like right now I run a 980. And I won that through a dance contest.
Like, can we see some of that?
Talk to NVIDIA about that one. It was at their Game 24 they had over at the hangar.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yes.
I was the dude in the middle dancing for it.
Oh, nice. We need to do
that. Yeah, apparently I had a hype guy too, and he was walking around the circle, being like, "Oh, I'll give it up for him." So it was actually kind of funny how it went down. So with graphics cards, like, what's the process for you guys, like, going about, like, building them or putting them together? Because, like, I mean, every year, there's always seems to be, like, a new card that comes out, and, like, I mean, because, like, last year was the 980, this year we have now the 1080, like, how do you guys go about coming about with, like, these new technologies that come along with it, or is it just a constant thing that just happens?
There's always something new around the corner, NVIDIA is always improving their GPUs, so we take the NVIDIA, every year or so kind of refreshes their technology on their GPUs, and we take their GPUs, put it on a graphics card, and at the same time we're trying to improve our technology, whether it's cooling or power consumption or appearance, believe it or not, is actually a pretty big factor these days as well.
Oh, it is. No,
it used to be.
No, trust me, it is for me. Like, I look at those graphics and I'm like, yeah, I want that thing.
Yeah.
That thing looks awesome, Because, I mean, like, when you look into it, you don't want it to look like, here's that little green board, and here's the wiring. You're like...
It's kind of funny when you go back and you look at hardware from, like, 10, 15 years ago. It's like, we could never ship a card that looks like that today. You know? So it's just, you know, it's but that's good. You know, it's good to have better looking products. Everybody wants to have better looking products. So
especially in today, I mean, minimalism seems to be more the biggest key for people. It's like instead of going like super elaborate bells and whistles, it's like what way can we make I guess you would say, what way can we make everything look like an Apple product?
yeah, I mean, if you look at like any other high performance products, I mean, cars is like a good example. You know, they're usually somewhat simple but sleek designs. You know, they don't have like all these colors and stuff like that. If you look at like Ferrari or whatever, I mean, I think that's the kind of approach that the PC industry has taken as well. I mean, you look at a lot of these, like a lot of these PCs here. I mean, they're very sleek. You know, sleek. They look like a high performance machine.
Facebook audio is out on the
Facebook audio is out?
Yeah.
Wow. How's this happening now? This is the great things we deal with, guys. So give me 2 seconds.
Sorry, guys.
These are
it's
always
the theme of the night tonight is technical difficulties.
This is always what happens.
Yeah.
The hardest part is like with ours, with the streams, like we keep doing different things, and I'm sure you guys are saying like adding more stuff and it gets more and more complicated, and then like something breaks,
exactly
and then you don't know how to fix it.
I know with my courses.
Facebook audio should be fine. It could just be for them.
Okay.
If it's anybody from Facebook, can you guys let us know? I'll just do it this way. So if they really want, that's the weird part, because like this number keeps going up higher, which means people are like, I'm just telling people to go to Twitch. Is there? See, this is the one thing I hate to watch. Oh, there's all the comments.
Facebook, I'm so sorry for all.
We're so sorry. Facebook, we're sorry. Hold on.
Oh my god.
They can't hear us though.
Yeah.
You need to write it. I'm sorry.
I know. See, this is the one thing I hate. This is why we do them both, because like it attracts to more crowd.
And there's the audio comments right there.
Yeah, the Facebook comment system, like I haven't quite figured out how it works.
They need to fix the comment.
Sometimes it like automatically refreshes, other times it doesn't.
Other times it just doesn't. Hey, Mr. Electron, how's it going, man? Facebook stream is weird. Yeah.
I feel bad. like this should not be happening. Twitch has been acting up all day. Yeah, it's been everywhere. It's been everywhere. This is.
Did we ever figure out why the Twitch didn't work? No. It just started working.
It just came right on.
Mr. Electron trying to sit out the storm where I live. Oh, you got a bad storm here, Mr. Electron?
Okay.
And thank you. Bye,
So yeah, no, especially the way the products have been shipped, like from then to now, you can definitely see that progression over time of how they've evolved. So what really like distinguishes, like, because this is the part I always say, because you have so many competitors. Mm-hmm. What do you guys do to set yourself apart from them? But to go a little bit farther than that, what do you guys, how do you guys keep yourself ahead of them? Yeah, I guess it's one of the same too.
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of things. I mean, the product itself is one. We always try to innovate on the cooling. We just introduced a new technology called ICX, which has like 10 sensors all around the card, so it can detect VRM temperatures and memory temps, something that we've never been able to do before, which is pretty cool. But on top of that, there's a lot more with our support. For example, we have like 24/7 support, and our warranty products, our Step Up, which if you have a product, and then I said earlier that new cards are coming out all the time. We have a program called the Step Up program that if you buy a product and then something else comes out within 90 days, then you can upgrade to that product and just pay the difference in price. So it's kind of like a protection, so.
That's nice.
No, I think that's a great idea. It's like, shit, I wish I knew this was happening late.
Yeah, so that's just.
Lord knows I've done that before. I had to upgrade the graphics card on my PC at one point, and the next thing you know, like a better one was released, like just a few months later. I'm like, why did I just spend all of this money on a new graphics card?
That's the way, that's this industry, So with our 90-day step-up program, we try to add a little bit more protection for the user, so they don't have to cry so much when they.
That was a painful hit to my wallet.
Yeah.
I think it's a painful hit to a lot of people's wallets, but the thing
Yeah.
is, it's like, it's like, you know, you're saying is that the future proofing is actually a really good thing though, because a lot of times it's like when you're buying a PC and you're really trying to think about it, is like, do I buy something that will work now, but in like a year or two won't really match what I need it for, or do I buy something at least on the high end that will match what I need? And like, I mean, right now I'm still running an 8120 off my old PC that I had, and it still works. I mean, it's now starting to chunk finally, where it's like, but it still gets the job done when it needs to. Totally still echoing like crazy. Maybe just pin Twitch. It's echoing.
Oh,
Hold on.
We have multiple lines playing.
Check Restream. Is Restream?
Nope, found it.
Okay. The wonders of streaming.
It's
No,
the
it's-
technical difficulties,
It was-
right, guys? We were just thrown off our game today. That's
Yeah, guys,
all
sorry.
it is.
This is something that we never usually do.
Yeah.
The Master Race. It's very nice. Actually, we were watching something I showed it to my girlfriend recently. It was the PC Master Race guy, the yellow dude. But it's a console wars, so you see like, you know, Sony and like Microsoft battling it out on a ship. He's like backwards compatibility. He's like full range of games, and they're just fighting back and forth. And you see the PC guy go like, "Ha ha ha! You measly peasants!" He's just on it looks like an Alienware tower, like flying in the air. It's like, you do not know the glory of PC. It's like, I was just like, wow.
Send me this. Like, I would
It
love
is the best thing ever. Because like, it says, yes, compared to your measly RAM of 8 gigs, I have 16. It's like,
At least 16, if not 32.
no, I know. The joke is another one comes up right next to it, another big PC. He says, ha ha, you peasant of 16, I am 32.
There's always somebody better, right?
I know. Well, I think it's weird. Like, it's like the way people are building PCs now is like, now people are going for desks. Like, and I think that's a little bit weird because, like, to me that would seem such like a hassle. You know, you have to like build it into the desk, and then like when you move, that's just even a worse problem. Like, how do you put it in and like never shatter that glass?
See, but the other half of that is because I love those. I'm all about those. Like, oh, they're so pretty. But in order to build that and make that your own, the money that you're spending in that, I'm going to assume you have like a stable living environment and you're not moving anytime soon. That is.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to move that.
Yeah,
And I
you're-
definitely don't want to go
you're-
to any LAN party.
Yeah, no.
Well, see, that's what I like about our vapors. Like, it's like it actually is like we recently sponsored Cream, and if you guys don't know, he's a Twitch streamer. Check him out. He's streaming right now. Well, watch us first, then go over there. Well, you know what? I'll host him afterwards. Just stay here. But in the end of things, we gave him one of our old was it Syber Vapors, and it's got a 1080 in and everything. But he can now take these to conventions and stream from that.
Yeah.
And he's like, dude, I can do VR in a hotel room, and I can do all this other stuff. Like, that's pretty dope. And he's like, dude, we're gonna be doing cooking streams again. I was like, wow. I go, we literally just gave him mobility with that small little unit, and I think it's kind of cool that with PCs today we can do that kind of stuff, because having the towers, like, as much as I love the tower, like that is. I feel like that guy from Hackers where you get into like the chair, you got all the screens, like pull up so and you just look all like you're devious and everything. Like, I like that feeling, but at the same time too, I also like the feeling of knowing like it's a small thing and not
I
so
thought you were
messy.
talking about the movie Hackers.
I was.
Really, I don't remember that scene.
It's where he's in the where they're in the villains, or he's doing computing, and they come to talk to him, and he has his own little tower. Oh wait, no. That's where he has that virtual walkpad, actually. Do you remember that? The little virtual walkpad where he's like all fighting in VR, like he's trying to do VR, and it's all like.
I don't remember the VR scene. Mainly what I remember out of that movie is hack the planet. Hack the planet.
I think my favorite thing was everybody going, dude, and he's got a 56K modem. I was like, wow, we were so lame.
I remember when they had they were called shotgun modems. It's basically like 56K SLI modem,
Oh
Pretty
my
ridiculous.
god. Jesus. The technology we had. My gaming PC is old. It was an ECS 790 FX board with a Phenom 2 X4 965B and Radeon 78050 OCD, and I'm playing anything out today. Well, there you go. Man's got his thing. He's talking about the movie with the Hugh Jackman, I think, with Halle Berry showed her titles. That was Swordfish. I'm pretty sure that was Swordfish, right? I'm pretty sure it was that one. God, you guys don't watch movies, do you?
I know, huh?
Go home and watch Hackers. I want you to come. I game too, but I at least you see. There's a game information. You need to feed constantly from this side. That sounds weird when I say it that way, but it's just like...
Okay, well, depending on what kind of information, because I have other interests too. I just don't particularly care so much about TV and movies.
I certainly watch a lot less TV and movies than I used to, I would say.
Really?
Still, from here to there, but here and there.
I call shenanigans because I know you had a girlfriend.
How
many times does she make you watch something?
I do have Netflix and Hulu, but I don't really watch it very often.
No, it's the same thing for me. Like I still need to catch up on a bunch of series, but it's always
Prime too.
Wow. Have you watched The Expanse? Okay, what the one thing
I just said I don't watch.
Okay, I will say this: if you guys watch a show that you need to watch, The Expanse, watch that. That is actually a good show. Okay, moving back to graphics card and far off, not from the point. I hear you. It was a nice gaming comp. There you go. So as far as everything else goes, with GPUs, so when people are developing them and like setting them up, do you guys work with your? Because I mean, like really. I don't see everyone as like an opponent. I wonder if you guys like bounce ideas off each other or like share concepts, so you guys will go like, well, we were thinking this, so we thought this. Does that ever happen or occur between you guys, or is that just?
Certainly, we have a lot of partners: Intel, Microsoft, game developers. We work with a lot of them. I mean, obviously, from our perspective, we want to work with game developers. Especially, we work with a lot of indie game developers actually, because they need hardware to develop their games.
Yeah.
So we work with a lot of those guys to help get them hardware if they need it to program their games. Obviously, if it works great on our hardware, then it's only better for everyone, really.
Yeah.
Included. So.
Well, no, I always think it's funny because like when Conan came out, they kept saying like need graphics drivers, to be updated, and I was just going like, well, this should be running everything. Like, what are you doing differently from what they're doing, to why it's having issues, or like where there's like memory leaks in something, or other issues like. We Happy Few had a few, issues themselves. That was like I think a couple, like I think they had leaks at one point. So when I was trying to run it, it would always chunk along.
Yeah. Or just
it's
going slower and slower.
Yeah, and Dishonored 2 the same way. Like it would load up and it was like, oh great, it's working. And as like time progressed, it just got crappier. And I was like, I know this graphics card is not bad. It's a 980. Like, come on.
Yeah. So that's why it's important, and NVIDIA does a lot of that stuff, working with game developers and making sure the NVIDIA drivers are optimized on the games. That's a huge priority for them. So it's not perfect today, obviously. There's still here and there where games have issues, but it's certainly a lot better than it used to be like 10 years ago, where like sometimes games wouldn't even launch, or there was all kinds of stuff, so it's a much different. I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a much improved. PC gaming overall has improved a lot in the last 10 years.
I want this great. I mean, and that's a great part. It's like you really don't see that many issues really occur that much. Yeah. And I think it's funny though, because with the way that games are going now, and the way with all the improvements that are happening, now we've become more of like just really we think everything should just work automatically.
Yeah.
Like, and everybody now gets mad about that. Like, why don't you fix your game? Why don't you fix this? Like, I hear that more than often about people complaining about why does something not work the first time around.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, like, you need to really calm down for a second and realize that this is something that, is like, if it's its first time out the gates, then yeah, it's not going to always run 100% perfect. It's like sometimes there's going to be issues. Like, there's so many things out there in the PC world that, as much as you guys complain about, like, them not working the first time around, that you just need to let them like do what they need to do and get into alignment, and then sometimes it's going to work on.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of times you see games improved over time, but making a game is very complicated. It's very hard. There's a lot of factors that are running in order to just make a game run. There's artificial intelligence running in the background, then you have to deal with multi-core CPUs and how to prioritize this, that, and the other. So it's a complicated thing. So usually when you see issues like that, usually they get ironed out over time. But like I said, game developers today have gotten a lot more. They've kind of gotten the PC industry down a lot more. Like if you look back again, like 10 years ago, like nobody had FOV adjustments. You know, like a lot of games didn't even support widescreen resolutions. You know,
yeah,
like
it would always come back in a box. Like you get widescreen, like
yeah,
you're like oh,
and everything's all stretched. You know, it's like today, like it's rare to not have a game that doesn't have an FOV or doesn't have anti-aliasing settings, which like a lot of games didn't have like 5-10 years ago. So. You know, we'll continue to see things improve, I think, especially as PC gaming continues to grow.
Well, I think it's interesting, like, for a while, like, there was that small bit of code, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but there was a small bit of code that could have been programmed to provide dynamic lighting to just simple backgrounds, but they were leaving it out of games for a while. I think it was more of like a Sony thing, was they were writing this code, and the code basically was to like add dynamic like lighting so the clouds looked like clouds for real, but they kept leaving it out. And once everybody's going like, oh yeah, guess what? We got like 4K, and then they were at the press conference like, well that's cool, but what's this over here? This dynamic lighting, like this really helped the game. Like it looks really good. And they were like, oh well, it's just a simple bit of code. We could have been. It's like, oh no, the code was there. We just never activated it. It's like, what? You know, so you know, and I've seen things like that with certain PC games where like it's just simple code that can change what you guys are already using and putting out there. Yeah. I think that's actually really cool because
you see that a lot with like mods. You know, like mods that improve the quality of textures or you know whatever lighting. You see a lot of lighting improvements, and it's like just a couple tweaks here and there can really change the look of a game.
Yeah, I think more or less they're just scared to take the extra step sometimes because like if they do, they feel like that will like shoot them in the foot. Like they'll hate our game if we just don't like we'll just leave it the way it is. We're just gonna leave it like. Because they have this new map texture for Fallout that just came out. I want to say, for Fallout 4 that came out. But it really...
Wasn't it like 50 gigs or something like that? It was huge.
Yeah, it was monstrous, but it really didn't do that much. Like, I kept looking at, like, it had this swipe where you can swipe left or right to make it look like what it should look like. So I'm, like, swiping left. And I'm like, okay, that's the textures. Swipe right. It's like, it really is not impacting my game at this point. And I just kept going back and forth. I was like, you know what? Fallout 4 has got its own love, and I'm going to leave it alone because, you know, I think it's fine the way it is. But sometimes people want that super high end part of it. Yeah. I forget who it was. Somebody.
Watch Dogs has a texture pack also. It's like 40 gigs.
Oh Jesus!
Watch Dogs 2.
That's one game I actually need to finish. I actually like the premises where I was like, I like the premises of this game.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
No,
I haven't finished it, but it's good.
Yeah, somebody actually, one of my viewers actually bought it from me. He said, all right, you got to play the game. And I've yet to return back to it. So it's going to be one of the games I have to go back and return because I feel like a douche if somebody does that.
So do we have any release date on the Icebox? What you called it, the ICX?
Oh, ICX?
There you go.
Yeah, so we launched it about like last week. Was it last week?
It launched last week. There you go, Firebeam.
So it's out today on GTX. We have it on 1060, 1070, and 1080 cards. It's pretty cool tech. Like we have dual fans, and one fan is actually running at a different speed than the other one because one fan is tied to the power PWM temperature, and the other fan is tied to the GPU temperature. So we're more able to optimize the noise level by not spinning the fans too fast, and we can keep the PWM temperatures in check better than before. So.
Well, with like CPUs being the way they are today, like I mean, because I know Ryzen was actually talking about having its own sensors and it having kind of like a sense of AI for itself. Will your guys' graphics card be working with their technology and like coordinating? Because I mean, you now have your sensors and now you have theirs, so that would seem like it may have a conflict.
Yeah, I mean, ours kind of run it completely independent. It doesn't matter what the CPU is or what's going on there. Our tech on ICX is all on the card. You know, it has all these sensors. It has actual like processors to compute all the temperature data and then tweak the fan curve to make sure that it's running properly. So it's pretty cool tech.
No, it sounds like incredible. I mean, like to me, I think that's awesome because like instead of you have to go in and set your fans for each time, you know, and like adjust them, I think it's great that it can adjust itself. I mean, that was one thing I was looking at with a new CPU cooler that came out. It was a thermodynamic fan. So basically, it would adjust to like the temperature, and it could actually provide its own, you know, cooling. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like, and I was like, but how does it gauge that? And he's like, oh, it has its own sensors. I'm like, well, that's actually pretty impressive because then you don't have to anymore go in and be like, I have to adjust it ever so slightly or do this or like, you know, overclockers, that makes their life a lot easier, because then it's like, now I don't have to adjust the fan.
And that was kind of the goal with ICX, is that you don't have to worry about it. You just plug it in. Their power temperatures are fine. Your GPU temperatures are fine. However, if you do like to tweak that kind of stuff, now you have more control, because you can see all these sensors, and then you can tweak each fan independently. So for the novice user, it's a better cooling solution. Also for the hardcore enthusiast, it's a better solution, and you have more options and tweak stuff.
Now, when you guys build this kind of stuff, do you guys keep in mind for the modders? Like, are you just like, hey, like, we want to build something that not just for the average user, but also for modders?
Modders, I mean, I would say enthusiasts, certainly. Like, all the sensors that we have on there, a lot of it is for enthusiasts, I'd say. For modders, I mean, we are, I would say, modder friendly in a way. Like, if you take off your card, it won't void the warranty. If you take off the cooler, it won't void the warranty, that kind of stuff. But outside of that, I wouldn't say that there's anything extra on the graphics card that's specifically for modders.
I guess if I was asking specifically is, they know about the ICX. They want to know if they are planning on releasing a hybrid, one prefer 1080.
Yeah, so hybrid is a, you're probably familiar with like the all-in-one cooling solutions for CPU.
Yeah.
Well, we have that for graphics card also. It's called hybrid, and it has, it's basically an all-in-one water cooler for GPU. It has a pump in it and the fluid. You don't have to fill it or anything like that.
I think we actually were showcasing that with one of our cards that we actually had in one of our systems.
Yeah. So,
I think it's right. It's for the 10K one, guys, the Intel Extreme Rig Build. Remember that one? But yeah, no, I think we had a couple of your guys' stuff. I think we had one of them on our graphics card when we were showcasing it, if I'm correct. So, no, I think that's really cool, like how they have those systems now. Because, I mean, a lot of times people try to run the whole system, together, and it's one through another. And people always were kind of concerned that if one's, cooling off the other, wouldn't it, like, make it a lot warmer than usual?
I mean, the custom cooling loop solution stuff is really cool, but there's downsides to it. It's expensive. You have to know how to do that, to fill it and drain it. And so this is a much simpler solution to get like pretty much very similar temperatures to what you can get with like a high-end water cooling system.
Yeah, well, I think that's better because, I mean, like, I like the idea of the cooling system, but I mean, like, being able to have one that's just by itself without having to deal with liquids or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, because a lot of people try to, like, I mean, as much as I think it's cool, guys, to me, on my end, you really don't need water coolant. I mean, that's what I say most of the time, because it is a lot to deal with. But I mean, if you want the extra tubing and all the whooshy, go for it. I've never been a big fan of it. Like I agree with you. It's like you have to pull it apart. Then there's the tubing that goes everywhere. It's just...
I will say that it looks awesome, definitely.
Oh yeah,
and it's cool. It's cool. It's fun to do, but. Yeah, I mean, you really have to know what you're doing.
I'm pretty sure if I put a hamster on a wheel in the middle of it, that would be really cool too. I would be like, holy shit, he's got a hamster and a wheel on his computer.
That would be cool. I've seen people build PCs like aquariums, like put fish. I don't think the fish are actually in there, but they're like, there's like a divider between the outside and the inside, and it's like there's fish in there.
But I would be always worried, like, it'd crack on the other side.
Yeah, right?
What if they're cooking or something? I don't know.
Yeah, slowly, like,
You'll have fish sticks in 2 days.
Yeah. Fish sticks.
Oh man.
Do you guys have an estimated like release date for that, or?
For the hybrid stuff, we are shipping the current hybrid stuff today, but for ICX cards, we will have hybrid at a later date.
Very cool. So, well, guys, with that part of it done, we're going to move to our second part, as we always usually do, guys. We're going to actually move. Before we move into that, is there anything else you'd like to tell the people out there?
No, I think we covered quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, tell us more. What do you got in the pipeline? We got to know. No, I'm just kidding.
I mean, we have a pretty wide range of power supplies, motherboards as well. We sell. I know you like AMD a lot. We have Intel motherboards, so Z270 is pretty new for us.
Well, no, it's not anything. Like, I don't want to get this wrong. Hold on, let's clear this statement here. It's just I grew up as a kid with AMD, and I was going to switch over to Intel. I mean, like I said, if somebody was like to convince me and say like, here's an Intel and go for it for free, I'd be like, yeah, down.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's since I'm building it. And putting together and stuff like that, that's where I'm at, where it is. Where I'm like, I was thinking about doing the Intel jump over because everyone's like, just go for it. But at the same time, too, again, there's a soft spot going like, well, this Ryzen's really creating a stir. And it was like, because we were all at CES, and like, I saw a lot of stuff going around with Intel and AMD. So a lot of things that kept coming up was people going AMD. So, as that we're working with AMD right now, too, it was one of the things we were saying. Was like, we got to see, how it really works. So instead of being like everyone else and just say AMD's garbage all the way through, because I mean, as of late years, guys, you've let me down. It's really made me sad. But at the same time, too, with this everything going on now, I'm more excited to actually see Ryzen and see what it can do.
Yeah, well, I mean, even so, competition's good for the industry. It moves things forward, So yeah, I'm interested to see what they have as well.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? I mean, that's the thing too. Is like giving somebody a run for their money is never a bad thing. I'm not going to say it's the end all be all, but I mean, at least to have one good last hurrah with my AMDs, because I know eventually I'll just say Intel for the rest of my life. I might as well just do it on this and be like, all right, that is my final send off. I love you, but I'm never going to do this anymore. It's kind of like cheating on your wife, but it's not the right way.
There's a right way? Is there a right?
Yes. You never let her know.
Oh, okay.
AMD is the flashy hooker that is like, it's like, what are you doing over? I'm ending it there. This is too far. I had nowhere to go with that. They cornered me and they asked me a question. I was like, damn it. I was hoping she would just accept what my logic was in this.
No.
What they really need is like a $100 to $200 graphics
Right.
card.
Yeah, I think for that, the number one thing is identifying the games that you like to play. Like, if you only play League of Legends, that's all you play, then you can probably get by with like a GTX 1050, 1060 graphics card. But if you are playing Battlefield 1, obviously, really any AAA kind of title that really taxes the graphics card, then you probably want to look for something a little bit more. Of course, your budget plays into that as well. And your monitor, screen size, your resolution. So there's a lot of pretty good guides to kind of help you steer you in the right direction for the type of graphics card that you're looking at. A lot of like for example, NVIDIA publish these kind of recommended guides, like for when new games, like let's just use Sniper Elite 4 for example. They'll say, okay, if you're running at 1080p, if you want to run at maximum settings, then you need a GTX 1070 or something like that. So
yeah,
identifying the games you like to play, the screen resolution, can really help to push you in the right direction for the card that can best suit your machine.
Okay. So, you guys here, just making sure what kind of games you play out there. So guys, remember that part, because I mean, a lot of times a lot of people go out there and end up buying graphics cards that they don't need, or it's just overkill, and it's just like...
I mean, if you only play WoW, then you probably don't really need to buy a GTX 1080. But, I mean, a 1080 will play WoW fine, but...
But you need those high-end crisp graphics, man.
Yeah.
You can't just coast through like...
But of course, always buying more. I mean, it's not going to hurt you in any ways. You just want to make sure your power supply is good enough to support the graphic card. But getting the best performance possible is not a bad thing, and future-proofing your machine so you can play the games that come out next year and the year after without any issues is also a good thing. So.
Well, no, but I think that's a good idea. Like the future-proofing, that's one of the things I shoot for to myself. Like, I could have gone with, like, again, myself with some of the stuff that I have. I mean, like right now I run a 980. Mm-hmm. And I won that through a dance contest.
Like, can we see some of that?
Talk to NVIDIA about that one. It was at their Game 24 they had over at the hangar.
Yeah.
Were you there?
Yes.
I was the dude in the middle dancing for it.
Oh, nice. I need to do
that. Yeah, apparently I had a hype guy too, and he was walking around the circle, being like, "Oh, I'll give it up for him." So it was actually kind of funny how it went down. So with graphics cards, like, what's the process for you guys, like, going about, like, building them or putting them together? Because, like, I mean, every year there's always seems to be, like, a new card that comes out, and, like, I mean, because, like, last year was the 980, this year we have now the 1080, like, how do you guys go about coming about with, like, these new technologies that come along with it, or is it just a constant thing that just happens?
There's always something new around the corner, NVIDIA is always improving their GPUs, so... we take the...
I have information because I have other interests too. I just don't particularly care so much about TV and movies.
I certainly watch a lot less TV and movies than I used to, I would say.
Really?
Still, from here to there, but here and there.
I call shenanigans because I know you had a girlfriend. How many times does she make you watch something?
I do have Netflix and Hulu, but I don't really watch it very often.
No, it's the same thing for me. Like, I still need to catch up on a bunch of series, but it's always
Prime too.
Wow. Have you watched The Expanse? Okay, what the one thing
I just said I don't watch.
Okay, I will say this: if you guys watch a show that you need to watch, The Expanse, watch that. That is actually a good show. Okay, moving back to graphics card and far off, not from the point. I hear you. It was a nice gaming comp. There we go. So as far as everything else goes, with GPUs, so when people are developing them and like setting them up, do you guys work with your? Because I mean, like really, I don't see everyone as like an opponent. I wonder if you guys like bounce ideas off each other or like share concepts. So you guys will go like, well, we were thinking this, or we thought this. Does that ever happen or occur between you guys, or is that just?
Certainly, we have a lot of partners: Intel, Microsoft, game developers. You know, we work with a lot of them. I mean, obviously, from our perspective, we want to work with game developers. Especially, we work with a lot of indie game developers actually, because they need hardware to develop their games.
Yeah.
So we work with a lot of those guys to help get them hardware if they need it to program their games. You know, obviously, if it works great on our hardware, then it's only better for everyone, really.
Yeah.
Included, so.
Well, no, I always think it's funny because like when Conan came out, they kept saying like need graphics drivers, you know, like to be updated, and I was just going like, well, this should be running everything. Like, what are you doing differently from what they're doing, to why you know it's having issues, or like where there's like memory leaks in something, or you know other issues like We Happy Few had a few you know issues themselves. That was like I think a couple like I think they had leaks at one point. So when I was trying to run it. It would always chunk along,
yeah,
you know, or just
starts going slower and slower.
Yeah, and just on R2 the same way, like it would load up and it's like, oh great, it's working, and as like time progressed, it just got crappier, and I was like, you know, I know this graphics card is not bad, it's a 980, like come on.
Yeah, so that's why it's important, and NVIDIA does a lot of that stuff, you know, working with game developers and making sure the NVIDIA drivers are optimized on the games. That's a huge priority for them. So. It's not perfect today, obviously. You know, there's still here and there where games have issues, but it's certainly a lot better than it used to be like 10 years ago, you know, where like sometimes games wouldn't even launch or, I mean, there was all kinds of stuff, you know, so it's a much different, I mean, yeah, it's not perfect, but it's a much improved, PC gaming overall has improved a lot in the last 10 years.
Yeah, no, and I want this great.
I love those. I'm all about those. Like, they're so pretty. But in order to build that and make that your own, the money that you're spending in that, I'm going to assume you have like a stable living environment and you're not moving anytime soon. That is.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to move that.
Yeah,
and I definitely don't want to go to any LAN party.
Yeah, no.
Well, see, that's what I like about our Vapor. It's like, it actually is like we recently sponsored Cream, and if you guys don't know, he's a Twitch streamer. Check him out. He's streaming right now. Well, watch us first, then go over there. Well, you know what? I'll host him afterwards. Just stay here. But in the end of things, we gave him one of our old, was it Syber Vapors, and it's got a 1080 in and everything, but he can now take these to conventions and stream from that. Yeah. And he's like, dude, I can do VR in a hotel room, and I can do all this other stuff. Like, that's pretty dope. And he's like, dude, we're gonna be doing cooking streams again. I was like, wow. I go, we literally just gave him mobility with that small little unit, and I think it's kind of cool that with PCs today we can do that kind of stuff, because having the towers, like as much as I love the tower, like that is. I feel like that guy from Hackers where you get into the chair, you got all the screens, you're like, pull up so and you just look all like you're devious and everything. Like I like that feeling, but at the same time too, I also like the feeling of knowing like it's a small thing and not so messy.
I thought you were talking about the movie Hackers.
I was.
Really, I don't remember that scene.
It's where he's in the villains, or he's doing computing, and they come to talk to him, and he has his own little tower. Oh wait, no. That's where he has that virtual walkpad, actually. Do you remember that? The little virtual walkpad where he's like all fighting in VR, like he's trying to do VR, and it's all like.
I don't remember the VR scene. Mainly what I remember out of that movie is hack the planet. Hack the planet.
I think my favorite thing was everybody going, dude, and he's got a 56K modem. I was like, wow, we were so lame.
I remember when they were called like shotgun modems. It's basically like 56K SLI modem, you know.
Oh my god, Jesus! The technology we had. My gaming PC is old. It was an ECS 790 FX board with a Phenom 2 X4 965 B and Radeon 78050 OCD. And I'm playing anything out today. Well, there you go. Man's got his thing. He's talking about the movie with the Hugh Jackman, I think, with Halle Berry showed her times. That was Swordfish. I'm pretty sure that was Swordfish, right? I'm pretty sure it was that one. Oh, you guys don't watch movies, do you?
I know, huh?
Go home and watch Hackers. I want you to come. I game too, but I at least see. There's a game. It costs $20, but even then, like everyone's still running it and playing that game.
Yeah, or you look at like StarCraft as well, like StarCraft 2, which is extremely popular. I mean, around the world, you know. So, yeah, I mean and on top of that, you know, like with streaming and stuff, it's kind of increased the visibility of PC games and things like Esports Arena, where people not just like to play games, but they like to watch games. That's something relatively new in this industry.
Yeah, it is. It is. Well, the fact that people are becoming more aware of the brands and of the different, types of things that, these products are being used for. Like we were talking about motherboards like a month ago, and we were talking about like if you were going out to build a PC, like what would you look for in that kind, in the range of like say like a house mom who's just wants to do accounting or buying off Amazon, or if you're like somebody who's an extreme gamer, like what would you be looking for, with slots, do selections, and stuff like that. And one of the things I always tell people is like, it always varies per person. Sometimes you don't need that $2,000 PC.
Right.
I do video rendering and editing, so I try to shoot for a pretty high end between 2 to 5. But even then, I'm still on a budget. Like right now, I'm putting together a new PC myself, but I'm using the parts that we have currently through our PCs right now. I took one of our M series towers, and then. This is the one thing we're not offering. I'm waiting for a Ryzen. I'm being that guy where I'm like, I want one of those chips. Because I'm an AMD fan. I grew up on that. Like, I'll give you guys hands down, your graphics card has always been better to me. But for that AMD's like processors, I got a soft spot. It was always just easy for me. I could go Intel and get a Kaby Lake and everything, but I was like, I'm gonna take the gamble. If the packet's horrible, then I'm just gonna be like, I'm done. Like you've sold me out the river. So, but
I think that's the other great thing about PC gaming, or just PCs in general today, is there's a lot of options. You want a mini PC, a mini ITX system. You want a full tower. I mean, there's a lot of different sizes that you can get your PCs. It's not just a gray box anymore.
Yeah. We've gotten to the level of customization. I think what's funny because the people in our industry were like a little bit smoked because that one guy who wrote the article for a bit. About how gaming or PCs need to become more mature and adulting because we were putting too many lights and stuff on everything. Like everything became RGB at one point. And I was sitting there going, I'm like, wow, this guy really struck a chord with everybody because like I brought it up once because I read it. And I was like, it's an interesting article. And so I just thought it was funny where it's like everyone was going like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I was like. Well, I mean, like, we do put a lot of lights on everything. It's like, we might as well make a disco ball computer if we really want to. Because, I mean, like, it sits below us, but of anything, I mean, I like the fact that there's customization to everything that we have right now. I could go Intel and get a Kaby Lake and everything, but I was like, I'm gonna take the gamble. If the packet's horrible, then I'm just gonna be like, I'm done. Like, you've sold me out the river. So, but
I think that's the other great thing about PC gaming, or just PCs in general today, is there's a lot of options. You want a mini PC, a mini ITX system. You want a full tower. I mean, there's a lot of different sizes that you can get your PCs. It's not just a gray box anymore.
Yeah. We've gotten to the level of customization. I think what's funny because the people in our industry were like a little bit smoked because that one guy who wrote the article for a bit about how gaming or PCs need to become more mature and adulting. Because we were putting too many lights and stuff on everything, like everything became RGB at one point. And I was sitting there going, I'm like, wow, this guy really struck a chord with everybody. Because like I brought it up once because I read it. And I was like, it's an interesting article. And so I just thought it was funny where it's like everyone was going like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I was like, well, I mean, like we do put a lot of lights on everything. It's like we might as well make a disco ball computer if we really want to. Because I mean, like it sits below us, but. of anything, I mean, I like the fact that there's customization to everything that we have right now.
Right, and I mean the good thing about RGB lights is not necessarily like disco mode, but the ability to like match all the colors in the system, which is another something else that we couldn't really do before. Like your CPU cooler was green and your graphics card was blue, but now with RGB we can match everything together, which is what we want.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you on that. It's one of those things where you see people actually really enjoy customization and really like feel like they own their PC, and I think that's great because having that personal connection with your PC is always a great thing. I mean, like that's one of the things that we have with ours is that we want people to have that connection and really enjoy it. So that's why we offer the different varieties and different types of vendors that we work with, because it's always nice to have those options.
Right.
But besides that, before we launch into full tech mode and talking about all this stuff, we usually do the segment of where we talk, first of all, guys, right offhand about our weekends. Usually just a capture of any video games we played, any cool things that have happened. So starting with Amber first, and we'll work our way back down this way. What did you end up doing this weekend, Amber?
I pretty much played nothing but Conan Exiles this weekend. That's all I've done.
Are you on our server still?
I still haven't. I didn't know if it was still up and going.
The server's
I know I talked to Chris a little bit, and I don't know what's happening there. So if the whole thing that we were gonna do is still happening or even not. So
Well,
I haven't gone in there because I haven't heard any word. I've been meaning to ask you about it, but we haven't.
No, it's still live. There's there's like 4 or 5 streamers on it right now.
Okay.
So I think it's funny because everyone's like on it at different times.
Yeah.
So they're building. Have you played Conan Exiles?
No, but I've kind of been watching it. So
yeah, it's and I was sitting there going I'm like, wow, this guy really struck a chord with everybody, because like I brought it up once because I read it. I was like, oh, it's an interesting article. And so I just thought it was funny where it's like everyone was going like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I was like, well, I mean, like we do put a lot of lights on everything. It's like we might as well make a disco ball computer if we really want to, because I mean, like it sits below us, but. Of anything, I mean, I like the fact that there's customization to everything that we have right now.
Right, and I mean the good thing about RGB lights is not necessarily like disco mode, but the ability to like match all the colors in the system, which is another something else that we couldn't really do before. Like your CPU cooler was green and your graphics card was blue, but now with RGB we can match everything together, which is what we want.
Yeah, I mean, and I agree with you on that. It's one of those things where you see people actually really enjoy customization and really like feel like they own their PC, and I think that's great because having that personal connection with your PC is always a great thing. I mean, like that's one of the things that we have with ours is that we want people to have that connection and really enjoy it. So that's why we offer the different varieties and different types of vendors that we work with, because it's always nice to have those options.
Right.
But besides that, before we launch into full tech mode and talking about all this stuff, we usually do the segment of where we talk, first of all, guys, right offhand about our weekends. Usually just a capture of any video games we played, any cool things that have happened. So starting with Amber first, and we'll work our way back down this way. What did you end up doing this weekend, Amber?
I pretty much played nothing but Conan Exiles this weekend. That's all I've done.
Are you on our server still?
I still haven't. I didn't know if it was still up and going.
The server's
I know I talked to Chris a little bit, and I don't know what's happening there. So if the whole thing that we were gonna do is still happening or even not. So I haven't gone in there because I haven't heard any word. I've been meaning to ask you about it, but we haven't.
No, it's still live. There's there's like 4 or 5 streamers on it right now.
Okay.
So I think it's funny because like everyone's like on it at different times.
Yeah.
So they're building. Have you played Conan Exiles?
No, but I've kind of been watching it. So
yeah, it's kind of one of those things where we have all these different streamers on it. So like they're all streaming at different hours. Mm-hmm. So like it's like you'll run into random people tracking you down. Well, like somebody come up behind you and shoot you with an arrow. You're like, oh, what are you doing? And like you don't know
for 5 minutes just to kill your ass.
Well, because we made a save zone, we basically said that like anything south of the river, you can't attack or loot or do anything to, because then it becomes very chaotic and nobody likes the game because they get just frustrated by it. And that's hard because the map, if everybody knows the map pretty well, and they're exploring and they find new people within the map, or they like it's their server,
they know where you are.
Exactly. So they just come hunt you down and blow your stuff up. So in this part, we just said anything south of the river, don't attack. But everything north of the river, free game. So like I built a small base up in like the hills, like away like near an. It's when you're buying a PC and you're really trying to think about it, is like, do I buy something that will work now but in like a year or two won't really match what I need it for, or do I buy something at least on the high end that will match what I need? And like, I mean, right now I'm still running an 8120 off my old PC that I had, and it still works. I mean, it's now starting to chunk finally, where it's like, but it still gets the job done when it needs to. Totally still echoing like crazy. Maybe just pin Twitch. It's echoing.
Oh,
hold on.
We have multiple lines playing.
Check Restream. Is Restream?
Nope, found it.
Okay. The wonders of streaming.
It's the technical difficulties, guys. We were just thrown off our game today. That's
yeah, guys, sorry. This is something that we never usually do.
Yeah.
The Master Race. It's very nice. Actually, we were watching something I showed it to my girlfriend recently. It was the PC Master Race guy, the yellow dude. But it's a console wars, so you see like Sony and like Microsoft battling it out on a ship. He's like backwards compatibility. He's like full range of games, and they're just fighting back and forth. And you see the PC guy go like, "Ha ha ha! You measly peasants!" He's just on it looks like an Alienware tower, like flying in the air. It's like, you do not know the glory of PC. Like, I was just like, wow. It is the best thing ever, because like it says, yes, compared to your measly RAM of 8 gigs, I have 16. Like
at least 16, if not 32.
No, I know. The joke is another one comes up right next to it, another big PC. He says, "Ha ha! You peasant of 16, I am 32."
There's always somebody better, right?
I know. Well, I think it's weird. Like, it's like the way people are building PCs now is like people are going for desks. Like, and I think that's a little bit weird because, like, to me that would seem such like a hassle. You know, you have to like build it into the desk, and then like when you move, that's just even a worse problem. Like, how do you put it in and like never shatter that glass?
See, but the other half of that is because I love those. I'm all about those. Like, oh, they're so pretty. But in order to build that and make that your own, the money that you're spending in that, I'm going to assume you have like a stable living environment and you're not moving anytime soon. That is...
Yeah, I wouldn't want to move that.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want to go to any LAN party.
Yeah, no.
Well, see, that's what I like about our Vapor. It's like, it actually is, like, we recently sponsored Cream. And if you guys don't know, he's a Twitch streamer. Check him out. He's streaming right now. Well,
simpler solution to get, like, pretty much very similar temperatures to what you can get with, like, a high-end water cooling system.
Yeah, well, I think that's better because, I mean, like, I like the idea of the cooling system, but I mean, like, being able to have one that's just by itself without having to deal with liquids or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier, you know, because a lot of people try to, like, I mean, as much as I think it's cool, guys, to me, on my end, you really don't need water coolant. I mean, that's what I say most of the time, is because it is a lot to deal with, but I mean, if you want the extra tubing and all the whooshy, go for it. You know, I've never been a big fan of it. Like, I agree with you. It's like, you have to pull it apart. Then there's the tubing that goes everywhere. It's just...
I will say that it looks awesome, definitely.
Oh, yeah.
And it's cool. It's cool. It's fun to do, but yeah, I mean, you really have to know what you're doing.
I'm pretty sure if I put a hamster on a wheel in the middle of it, that would be really cool, too. I would be like, holy shit, he's got a hamster and a wheel on his computer.
That would be cool. I've seen people build PCs like aquariums, like put fish. I don't think the fish are actually in there, but they're like, there's like a divider between the outside and the inside, and it's like there's fish in there.
But I would be always worried, like, it'd crack on the other side.
Yeah, right?
What if they're cooking or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's totally like...
You'll have fish sticks in 2 days.
Yeah. Fish sticks.
Oh, man.
Do you guys have an estimated, like, release date for that, or...?
For the hybrid stuff, we are shipping the current hybrid stuff today, but for ICX cards, we will have hybrid at a later date.
Very cool. So... Well, guys, with that part of it done, we're going to move to our second part, as we always usually do, guys. We're going to actually move, before we move into that, is there anything else you'd like to tell the people out there?
No, I think we covered quite a bit, yeah.
Yeah? No, tell us more. What do you got in the pipeline? We got to know. No,
you know, I mean, we have a pretty wide range of power supplies, motherboards as well. We sell, I know you like AMD a lot. We have Intel motherboards, so Z270 is pretty new for us.
Well, no, it's not anything. Like, I don't want to get this wrong. Hold on, let's clear this statement here. It's just I grew up as a kid with AMD, and I was going to switch over to Intel. I mean, like I said, if somebody was like to convince me and say like, here's an Intel and go for it for free, I'd be like, yeah, down.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's since I'm building it and putting together and stuff like that. That's where I'm at, where it is. Where I'm like, I was thinking about doing the Intel jump over because everyone's like, just go for it. But at the same time too, again, there's a soft spot going like, well, this Ryzen's really creating a stir, and it was like, you know, because we were all at CES, you know, and like I saw a lot of stuff going around with Intel and AMD, so a lot of things that kept coming up was people going AMD. So, you know, as that we're working with AMD right now too, it was one of the things we were saying was like, you know, we got to see, you know, how it really works. So instead of being like everyone else and just say AMD's garbage all the way through, you know, because I mean, as of late years, guys, you've let me down. It's really made me sad. But at the same time too, with this everything going on now, I'm more excited to actually see Ryzen and see what it can do.
Yeah, well, I mean, even so, competition's good for the industry. It moves things, fulfill it, and train it. And so this is a much simpler solution to get like pretty much very similar temperatures to what you can get with like a high-end water cooling system.
Yeah, well, I think that's better because I mean, like, I like the idea of the cooling system, but I mean, like, being able to have one that's just by itself without having to deal with liquids or anything like that.
Yeah,
it's a lot easier, you know, because a lot of people try to like. I mean, as much as I think it's cool, guys, to me, on my end, you really don't need water coolant. I mean, that's what I say most of the time, because it is a lot to deal with. But I mean, if you want the extra tubing and all the whooshy, go for it. You know, I've never been a big fan of it. Like I agree with you. It's like you have to pull it apart. Then there's the tubing that goes everywhere. It's just...
I will say that it looks awesome, definitely.
Oh yeah,
and it's cool. It's cool. It's fun to do, but. Yeah, I mean, you really have to know what you're doing.
I'm pretty sure if I put a hamster on a wheel in the middle of it, that would be really cool too. I would be like, holy shit, he's got a hamster and a wheel on his computer.
That would be cool. I've seen people build PCs like aquariums, like put fish. I don't think the fish are actually in there, but they're like, there's like a divider between the outside and the inside, and it's like there's fish in there.
But I would be always worried, like it'd crack on the other side.
Yeah, right?
What if they're cooking or something? I don't know.
Yeah, it's not like
You'll have fish sticks in 2 days.
Yeah. Fish sticks.
Oh man.
Do you guys have an estimated like release date for that, or?
For the hybrid stuff, we are shipping the current hybrid stuff today, but for ICX cards, we will have hybrid at a later date.
Very cool. So, well, guys, with that part of it done, we're going to move to our second part, as we always usually do, guys. We're going to actually move. Before we move into that, is there anything else you'd like to tell the people out there?
No, I think we covered quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah. No, tell us more. What do you got in the pipeline? We got to know. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, I mean, we have a pretty wide range of power supplies, motherboards as well. We sell. I know you like AMD a lot. We have Intel motherboards, so Z270 is pretty new for us.
Well, no, it's not anything. Like, I don't want to get this wrong. Hold on, let's clear this statement here. It's just I grew up as a kid with AMD, and I was going to switch over to Intel. I mean, like I said, if somebody was like to convince me and say like, here's an Intel and go for it for free, I'd be like, yeah, down.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's since I'm building it. And putting together and stuff like that. That's where I'm at, where it is. Where I'm like, I was thinking about doing the Intel jump over because everyone's like, just go for it. But at the same time too, again, there's a soft spot going like, well, this Ryzen's really creating a stir, and it was like, you know, because we were all at CES, you know, and like I saw a lot of stuff going around with Intel and AMD, so a lot of things that kept coming up was people going AMD. So, you know, as that we're working with AMD right now too, it was one of the things we were saying was like, you know, we got to see, you know, how it really works. So. Instead of being like everyone else and just say AMD's garbage all the way through, you know, because I mean, as of late years, guys, you've let me down. It's really made me sad. But at the same time, too, with this everything going on now, I'm more excited to actually see Ryzen and see what it can do.
Yeah, well, I mean, even so,
have like Dead by Daylight that uses like a low-level shading for it, but it looks pretty good for what it is. But it costs $20, but even then, like, everyone's still running it and playing that game.
Yeah, or you look at like StarCraft as well, like StarCraft 2, which is extremely popular. I mean, around the world, you know. So, yeah, I mean, and on top of that, you know, like with streaming and stuff, it's kind of increased the visibility of PC games and things like Esports Arena, where people not just like to play games, but they like to watch games. That's something relatively new in this industry.
Yeah, it is. Well, the fact that people are becoming more aware of the brands and of the different, you know, types of things that, you know, these products are being used for. You know, like we were talking about motherboards like a month ago, and we were talking about like if you were going out to build a PC, like what would you look for in that kind, in the range of like say, you know, like a house mom who's just wants to do accounting or buying off Amazon, or if you're like somebody who's an extreme gamer, like what would you be looking for, you know, with slots, new selections, stuff like that. And one of the things I always tell people is like, it always varies per person. You know, sometimes you don't need that $2,000 PC.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's I do video rendering and editing, so I try to shoot for a pretty high end between 2 to 5. But even then, I'm still on a budget. Like right now, I'm putting together a new PC myself, but I'm using the parts that we have currently through our PCs right now. I took one of our M series towers, you know, and then this is the one thing we're not offering. I'm waiting for a Ryzen. I'm being that guy where I'm like, I want one of those chips because I'm an AMD fan. I grew up on that. Like, I'll give you guys hands down your graphics card. It's always been better to me, but for that AMD's like processors, I got a soft spot. It was always just easy for me. I could go Intel and get a Kaby Lake and everything, but I was like, I'm gonna take the gamble. If the packet's horrible, then I'm just gonna be like, I'm done. Like you've sold me out the river. So, but
I think that's the other great thing about PC gaming, or just PCs in general today, is there's a lot of options. You know, you want a mini PC, a mini ITX system. You want a full tower. I mean, there's a lot of different sizes that you can get your PCs. It's not just a gray box anymore. You know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, we've gotten to the level of customization. I think what's funny because the people in our industry were like a little bit smoked because that one guy who wrote the article for a bit about how gaming or PCs need to become more mature and adulting because we were putting too many lights and stuff on everything. Like everything became RGB at one point. And I was sitting there going, I'm like, wow, this guy really struck a chord with everybody because like I brought it up once because I read it. I was like, oh, it's an interesting article. And so I just thought it was funny where it's like everyone was going like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't know what he's talking about. I was like, well, I mean, like we do put a lot of lights on everything. It's like we might as well make a disco ball computer if we really want to. I think it's interesting. Like for a while, like there was that small bit of code, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but there was a small bit of code that could have been programmed to provide dynamic lighting to just simple backgrounds, but they were leaving it out of games for a while. I think it was more of like a Sony thing. Was they were writing this code, and the code basically was to like add dynamic like lighting so the clouds looked like clouds for real, but they kept leaving it out. And once everybody's going like, oh yeah, guess what? We got like 4K, and then they were at the press conference like, well that's cool, but what's this over here? This dynamic lighting, like this really helped the game. Like it looks really good. And they were like, oh well, it's just a simple bit of code. We could have been. It's like, oh no, the code was there. We just never activated it. It's like, what? You know, so you know, and I've seen things like that with certain PC games where like it's just simple code that can change what you guys are already using and putting out there. Yeah. I think that's actually really cool because
you see that a lot with like mods. You know, like mods that improve the quality of textures or whatever lighting. You see a lot of lighting improvements, and it's like just a couple tweaks here and there can really change the look of a game.
Yeah, I think more or less they're just scared to take the extra step sometimes because like if they do, they feel like that will like shoot them in the foot. Like they'll hate our game if we just don't like we'll just leave it the way it is. We're just gonna leave it like because they have this new map texture for Fallout that just came out. I want to say for Fallout 4 that came out. But it really
wasn't it like 50 gigs or something like that. It was huge.
Yeah, it was monstrous, but it really didn't do that much. Like I kept looking at like it had this swipe where you can swipe left or right to make it look like what it should look like. So I'm like swiping left, and I'm like, okay, that's the textures. Swipe right. It's like it really is not impacting my game at this point. And I just kept going back and forth. I was like, you know what? Fallout 4 has got its own love, and I'm going to leave it alone because, you know, I think it's fine the way it is. But sometimes people want that super high end part of it. Yeah. I forget who it was. Somebody.
Watch Dogs has a texture pack also. It's like 40 gigs.
Oh Jesus!
Watch Dogs 2.
That's one game I actually need to finish. I actually like the premises where I was like, I like the premises of this game.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
No,
I haven't finished it, but it's good.
Yeah, somebody actually, one of my viewers actually bought it for me. He said, all right, you got to play the game. And I've yet to return back to it. So it's going to be one of the games I have to go back and return because I feel like a douche if somebody does that.
So do we have any release date on the Icebox? What you called it, the ICX?
Oh, ICX?
There you go.
Yeah, so we launched it about like last week. Was it last week?
It launched last week. There you go, Firebeam.
So, it's out today on GTX. We have it on 1060, 1070, and 1080 cards. It's pretty cool tech. Like, we have dual fans, and one fan is actually running at a different speed than the other one because one fan is tied to the power PWM temperature, and the other fan is tied to the GPU temperature. So we're more able to optimize the noise level by not spinning the fans too fast, and we can keep the PWM temperatures